Hey everybody, so this is another episode of Cooking with Francisco. Today we picked a recipe. We're gonna do a walleye recipe today. I'm gonna poach it. We're at the Menominee Food Distribution. We're gonna be receiving walleye within our product in the warehouse here. So I'm gonna show you guys how to cook this fish without doing the Wisconsin, like the fish fries that we all know and we all love. So I'm just gonna show you guys a variety of techniques, I guess. So today we're gonna do the poaching technique. We're actually gonna break a little bit of the rules with the poaching technique. So in school, what they're gonna teach you is how to do it like a court bouillon. So our court bouillon would be like a vegetable stock. You'd add like a vinegar or wine to it. And normally you would use that for a poaching liquid for your seafood. Today we're gonna simplify that whole thing. We're just gonna poach in water, but we're gonna also use what we all have in our little drawers is a Ziploc bag. So if you don't have a Ziploc bag, I'm sure we all do though, you can use plastic wrap. Make sure it's like a heavy duty plastic wrap. And here we go. All right, so we have our Ziploc bag, and dependent on your size of your fillet, if it's not gonna fit, because the fillets that I have today, they're not gonna fit in here, you just cut them in half. So we'll just make those fit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mise everything, mise en place. We're gonna get everything ready to go, then we're gonna start cooking. First thing, I got my poached liquid heating up. I'm gonna show you how to temp this because we don't all have a sous vide at home, which is, it regulates your water temperature and it's like a nice even cook on everything. So since we don't all have that luxury, you should get one of those though, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make sure that water is to the temperature you want it at. You don't want it too hot, you don't want it too low. So we're gonna mise everything, we're gonna prep everything. So we're gonna go ahead and do our couple lemon slices here, right? So again, we're gonna repeat ourselves. So under my cutting board here, I have a damp rag, keeps it from sliding around, right? So I have my bowls all set. I don't have a bunch of things on my cutting board. I have a damp rag here to keep my knife clean as I go along. So we're gonna go ahead and continue here. We're gonna cut a couple lemon slices. With these fillets that I have, I'm gonna do about two slices per fillet. So I'm gonna fit two in our Ziploc bag here. So we're gonna go ahead and do 1, 2 each. Right, so we got our lemon slices, our dill in our recipe here. I'm not gonna do anything to the dill. I'm just gonna leave it. So although it didn't wash it, you wanna wash your dill. And we're gonna take some garlic here. We're gonna use a garlic clove. This is what I'm gonna use here. Just gonna loosen the clove here. So with my lemon slices, I wanna again make sure my cutting board is clean. I'm gonna center knife here, blade out, hit the center. Just kinda loosen the outside layer here. Make sure it's all clean. Knife, wipe from the back. Right, and this garlic, I'm not getting too much to it. I'm just gonna smash it, kind of brings out them oils a little bit, and that's it. So we're all prepped for our fish here. Now, I'm only using one cutting board, but I'm gonna show you, we're gonna do a safe, process. So I'm gonna cut all my vegetables, and then I'm gonna prep the fish on the cutting board. We're not gonna cross-contaminate. So I'm gonna go ahead with my cherry tomatoes here. So I'm just gonna cut these in half. Very simple. Okay, so I got everything prep, everything cut, everything ready to go. My water's heating up here. I'm gonna go ahead now, wipe my cutting board clean. I'm gonna bring my walleye fillet over. So I got them washed off, thawed out. So when I thaw these out, when I thaw out the walleye, I pull them the night before. And I put them in the refrigerator. You always wanna put your raw product on the bottom shelf and work your way up to ready to eat products. So like my spinach I have here would be on the top shelf, my walleye would be on the bottom shelf. So our walleye fillet, if you did forget to pull it, you can thaw it in cold water. Always make sure it's cold water. So we're gonna go skin on today. You can do skin off, we'll do that for a different video. The idea here is to keep it very simple for you guys. But what we're gonna do with the skin, so I got skin side up right now, my fillet, is I'm gonna score it just slightly. So I'm gonna go maybe like 20% of the way in, not too far. We're just gonna score it. So scoring it means I'm just putting a little cut into it. This is gonna help incorporate some of our flavors. It also will shorten the cook time. So we have our, it's all scored here. If you're frying fish, use this technique. So now we have it all scored. I'm gonna go ahead and get my Ziploc bag here. So again, my fish, I could probably get it in there, but we're gonna go comfortable. We're gonna cut this in half. Right. So now we're in our Ziploc bag. We're gonna go ahead and put our filet in here. We're gonna go put our lemons in here that we cut. Right. 2, we're gonna grab our dill and put it in there as a whole. Our garlic, put our garlic in there. It smells good already. I got a little oil here. This is canola. Now, if you have one of them oils at home you don't know what to do with, like your avocado oil, like a blood orange oil, this is the time to incorporate that. All those flavors. So this canola has a higher smoke point, doesn't have a lot of flavor profile. You could use a nice olive oil here. So we're gonna go ahead and add our oil. We're gonna post our recipe with exacts here for you guys. And I'm just gonna hit it a little bit of salt. I have sea salt here, so these little grinders you can pretty much find anywhere. They have settings on them. If you're ever gonna sear like a steak or you wanna have a nice sear on your meat, want a nice coarse grind on your salt. So there are settings. We're gonna go ahead and use the salt. So I have salt to taste. That means it's really, up to the preference. And that's pretty much it. So I'm not gonna seal this all the way yet. So I wanna kind of make sure that the air is out. So I'm gonna put everything towards the bottom here, right? And we're gonna fold this over, okay? What I'm doing is just checking for the air. If I have too much air in there, your fish, we're just gonna float. So we're gonna make sure the air is out. So our water temperature here, when you have bubbles in your water, and they're a little bit bigger, that's about a 212 and above, that's your boiling temp. We're looking for about 190, which is gonna mean you have small bubbles in your water because you're not quite a boil yet, you're right before the boil mark. That's what we're looking for with our fish. So our fish is all prepped. We're gonna go with our fish today. We're making a little side dish. So we're gonna do I'm gonna wilt some spinach, and with cherry tomatoes. And with that, we're gonna use a balsamic glaze. So the difference between a balsamic glaze and a balsamic, vinegar, is this is a reduction. So if you don't have a glaze at home and you have just regular balsamic, you would just put that in a saucepan and you would put that on real low temp, like a simmer, and you reduce that by half. So when you reduce that by half, what you would do is you would take a spoon, so you pick any balsamic vinegar that you like, put it in a little saucepan, reduce that by half. You should be able to put a spoon in your sauce and flip it upside down. It should coat the back of your spoon. What that's called is au sec. So when you're at au sec, then you have a balsamic glaze, or you can just go buy one like I did, but they're a little pricey. I think it's like $7 for this one, or maybe $5-6 for this one. Okay, so we're a good time in here because our water here is, we got our bubbles going where we want them exactly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put our fish. So I don't want the bag flipping all over because I don't want this to hit the sides of the pan too much because we don't want to melt any of that plastic. So I have it folded real nicely here, right? We got our seasonings, we got our fish in here, lemons, and we're just gonna go ahead and gently set this in the bag. So what I also have is a little pan right here in case your fish, because you wanna make sure that it's into the liquid itself. So I'm just gonna gently put a little saucepan on top here, a little saute pan, and that's it, it's easy as that. So depending on your fillet sizes, maybe like 10 minutes we're gonna go on this. And now we're gonna work on our spinach. So we have our spinach here. We have our cherry tomatoes that we cut in half. We're gonna heat our pan up, probably like a medium-high heat. This is about maybe 6 ounces of spinach. This is probably gonna cook down to like 1 ounce. But no, we're just gonna wilt it, so we're not gonna cook it down too far. But we're gonna start with our cherry tomatoes. We're gonna get our pan hot first, then add our oil. Same oil, we're gonna go with our canola oil here. All right, so we're gonna start our spinach here, but we wanna make sure we don't want this water too high of a temp. So if it starts to boil, just slightly turn it down. You might have to work with the water a little bit. So I have my pan hot here, medium-high heat. So I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. Just coat the bottom of your pan. So I heat the pan, then I add the fat to it. You don't need a whole lot. I'm gonna add my cherry tomatoes that we cut in half here. Right, hear that sound? That's what you're looking for. Saute means to jump. We're gonna just blister these, it's called. We're gonna blister them, so we don't wanna cook them too much, just so they start to get little bubbles form on them. So I'm always putting my handle aside. Busy kitchen, you don't wanna be bumping those. So this is actually almost where you want it already. All right, so you got some of those bubbles in there. I'm gonna go ahead and add my spinach. It's gonna look like a lot, I know. So here I like to use the tongs. Let it absorb some of that moisture, let some of the moisture cook out of it. It'll be easier to flip. So I'm not quite putting all my seasons in there yet. A little too dry yet. You can see as it absorbs some moisture, cooks down a little bit. So we're wilting it pretty good here. We want to remain some of the vibrant green and everything, so we're not going to go too far with it. Okay, from here, we're going to just add a little touch of salt. Sea salt's best. Again, we're going to have the recipe posted for you guys. Our balsamic glaze. We're going to also garnish with this, so you got to remember that. A little bit goes a long way. All right, easy as that. So our wilted spinach here. We're going to cut the heat. So I got the heat cut on there. So I'm looking at the bubbles on my my fish. So we're going to go just slightly higher. So we're just going to let this sit. We're going to let the fish finish. These fillets actually will not take that long. All right, so we got our spinach and our cherry tomatoes wilted here. So I'm going to be moving my hot pan over. If there's other people in the kitchen, you have to let them know, swing with the hot pan. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plate here. Put a bit of spinach down. Something different, poaching how to poach fish. You can poach pretty much any fish with the same exact recipe, the same exact technique. You can poach chicken. The technique here is what's important to me, is to teach a variety of techniques more so than a recipe. We all have our recipes that we enjoy. We have our profiles that we like. But if I teach technique, you can take your favorite flavor profiles and you can include them into these dishes that we make together here. So you can, if you enjoy basil, you can add basil to the dish, mint, limes instead of lemons, oranges. Look, it's going to be hot. So I'm going to bring this over to my cutting board here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, take a scissors, just like this, right? Go ahead and take your fish out. So I'm going to go ahead and, your fish should be 145. If you have a thermometer at home, please use it. I've been doing this a long time, so what we're checking for is that the meat's cooked all the way through. You can temp it 145. You can cut it open, tear it open, and check. So we're good, and we're flaking there. So we're gonna go ahead and put our fish on our bed of spinach here. Get a little dill in there. That's fine. Right. So we're gonna take some of our lemons. We'll take a fresh lemon here, fresh lemon juice, because the juices are so fresh in there, right? So we're gonna go ahead and cut that about 80% of the way down. We're going to present that there. So, and honestly, it's as easy as that. So we have our poached fish, our wilted spinach, and thank you very much, everybody. If you have questions or anything, please reach out. If I do not have the answer, we will learn together. Thank you very much.